Hi guys, it's Basilia here, coming at you with a Clash Royale video. I'm going to be covering the Prince Challenge that just came out about, I think, an hour ago. I just completed it. Again, I was trying to uphold the reputation of going 3-0 in this one, and guess what? I was able to uphold that 3-0. So we're going to go through the replays and just talk about talk about what cards I chose, why, and how I decided to use them in order to win. So we're gonna go to the first replay. I'm gonna choose, I believe, Ice Golem here because it's always good to have a nice little tanky unit in the in your deck. It was a hard pick though between skeletons because skeletons is like a staple card in a lot of my decks. Right here, I'm like, okay, I was thinking about miner or tornado, because he could tornado my miner into his tower. But I'm like, okay, he probably doesn't know how to do that, so I'll just take fireball. And just keep in mind, I'm not playing the cream of the crop here. I was thinking about zapping this, but I'm like, okay, that's just gonna give him too much value. I just need some chip. I got about 200 off. So right here, I'm gonna start with a knight in the back. I wasn't gonna fireball immediately, because the best time to get the most value out of your fireball is usually right when the troops cross the bridge, because that's where that's going to be their entire push right there. So I get some good value there. I'm going to zap his ice wizard because I don't want him to take out any of my skeletons. Tornado a little late, so I'm like, okay, now's a good time to go in with my miner. So I get my miner to chip. So my recommendation when you're dealing with these draft challenges is to, when you pick your 4 cards, pick 4 cards that you think you can make a push out of, and whatever cards they give you, you can sort of fill in with the rest. So right now I'm going to start with a wizard in the back. I didn't get to the Dark Goblin in time, so that was rather unfortunate. But I'm going to start I'm going to do a Ice Golem, and then a Prince up front. He blocks it with my P.E.K.K.A., which he's going to do quite a bit. Sort of keeps my Prince from getting to his tower. P.E.K.K.A.'s pretty easy to handle because he did give me Skeleton Army. I don't know what he was thinking when he gave me Skeleton Army, because I know he chose P.E.K.K.A. So was it like a choice between P.E.K.K.A. or Skeleton Army? That wouldn't make much sense, but if you're ever going to take P.E.K.K.A., don't give him any sort of hard counter to your P.E.K.K.A. But if you do, make sure that you have some sort of counter to like the Skeleton Army. I zap right there because my my Knight also has some health, so I want to get some chip and keep my miner up. So right here, I'm going to drop Ice Golem, distract the Dark Gob. My tower gets to take it out. I'm going to do Wiz back here, deal with those skeletons from the Witch. Which is always a pain. He wastes his tornado right here, so I'm like, okay, now's a good time to drop my Knight and Skeleton Army to deal with the P.E.K.K.A. I'm gonna drop another miner right here. That princess is gonna. Actually, no, I think I take that princess out. There's another princess that he drops a little later that does cause me some problems. So my miner's doing quite a bit of damage. This is a really good fireball coming up right here. I'm waiting for him to drop any other troop, but I decided he's not. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna take out the princess, Ice Wiz, and the Witch all at once. Ice Golem a little unnecessary right there. I just was sort of scared of, her getting some damage. He blocks my Prince once again with his P.E.K.K.A. This is the princess that does cause quite a lot of problems for me on my opposite lane, but I don't defend because that opposite lane has a lot of health. So his P.E.K.K.A. goes down pretty easily. He tornadoes my wizard back. Doesn't really get much done. I'm going to go in with another Prince, I believe, right now. And then we're going to do a miner. He's going to block my Prince again with his P.E.K.K.A. I'm not sure if I zap. Okay, I fireball and zap to get rid of that Ice Wizard. He's going to drop the Witch, which is fine with me. My tower is going to finish off that P.E.K.K.A. I'm going to drop a Knight to deal with the Witch. Miner to deal with the princess because I'm like, okay, she's doing way too much damage. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I can fireball zap cycle him out, So I fireball zap, not quite enough. So I'm like, okay, I just gotta cycle cards. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do Ice Golem, do with that princess, and then just have to miner. He dropped skeleton, so I was a little scared there that I would have to cycle again. But my miner just had just enough health to get that last hit in. So that's the end of the first replay. That was probably the easiest game. Actually, no, I think this was also a really easy game. So right here, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna take Prince because I'm gonna give him Skeleton Army, because I want to be able to counter the Prince and any heavy unit that he brings at me. I take Ice Whiz so I can slow down the Prince in case my Skeleton may not be in rotation. I take Wizard because a Wizard is a hard counter to the Witch, and I find more success in using the Wizard personally than I find using the Witch. So right here, I chose Expo because it's such a fun card to use. I like using because I'm really good at tracking their elixir. I always use it usually when they're low on elixir or when they don't have really anything to counter it with, because I can read them pretty well. I do a Lava Hound push. I drop it in the back corner. You always want to drop the Lava Hound in the back corner. It takes the best route. Right here, I'm like, okay, I want to lightning that, but also at the same time, I have to deal with this bowler because I do not want that bowler doing too much damage. So I surround it with Skeleton Army, which takes it out. Right here, sort of a late lightning. I guess it could be sort of worthwhile, but also at the same time, I didn't really get any damage. I'm like, okay, at least my princess gets some damage. I sort of got scared here that he was going to win because I saw he had Miner. And I didn't have anything in my deck to counter that. So right now I'm gonna drop right when he drops Tesla. I'm like, okay, this guy probably has like 1 or 2 elixir. He had 2. Now that I'm watching the replay, so I'm like, okay, he's running a pretty somewhat heavy deck, and he had his cheap cards out of rotation. So I knew he probably had like a couple 5s, and I knew he didn't have enough. So my Expo got some really good damage right there. And my Wizard's also going to get a little bit of value. I think he's going to get 1 hit, which does a lot. You don't want to leave a Wizard alone on your tower. It does a lot of damage. I arrow the Dark God because I sort of got a good read on his deck, and that's the only card that I could really arrow. Not really worthwhile to arrow Fire Spirits. I usually just use some sort of troop to tank those. I'm going to Lightning the Witch because although I don't like using her, she is a pain to face. So I use Skeleton Army on the Miner because I just don't want any more of that chip damage. At this point I'm like, okay, that left tower is basically done. I felt pretty comfortable right now. So I'm going to do, I think, Princess opposite lane that he's pushing to protect the other lane. But then he brings a Prince in. So I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting. So I thought my Ice Wizard was going to draw the Prince back a little bit, but I sort of misread that. So right now I'm doing opposite lane pressure, because I knew that other tower was basically done. I could just lightning it, or also just finish it off with an Expo. Here I get some pretty good damage on his right tower, and right now I'm like trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with this. So I just lightning it, and then I Ice Whiz. I think then right here I'm like, okay, we're going to overtime. He just dropped his Tesla again, which he seemed to only do when he was low on elixir. So he has that. That zap wasn't really worthwhile, and this is the end of the game. Expo, I'm telling you, great card. When you can place it when they're low on elixir, and you have a good read on their deck, and you're pretty confident that they aren't going to use any thing to counter it. So we're going to go into the final gameplay. This was the closest match. This is a really good game. I take Graveyard over Clone right here because I find the Graveyard, it's sort of a broken card because it relies on RNG, which is a random number generator, and because of the randomness, it's hard to counter. So I take Poison because I want to do Graveyard Poison, very popular strategy, and I also have Princess in there in case he has any other units. This first push, I believe he catches me off guard a little bit. Let's see what he does. I know he drops Minion Horde in this first push that forces me to respond pretty quickly. I look at my deck, I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be bad. I'm running a really expensive deck because I see that Barb Hut that he gave me and the P.E.K.K.A. So I'm like, okay, that's 14 elixir right there. I'm like, this is going to be bad. So right here, this push, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I dropped that Ice Spirit a little late, and that cost me. So that caused me to take a Prince push. Then I was like, oh crap, I have a I have an Inferno Dragon on my tower, so I had to zap that to reset it. So right here, I'm just gonna. I really, when you're playing expensive decks, you really have to be patient. It puts me out of my comfort zone because I like playing really quickly. So I drop archers here in order to deal with that baby drag. Probably should have dropped them a little further up so I didn't take that hit from the baby drag. And right now I'm going to drop another Barb Hut. He does make a mistake on this fireball right here because he does fireball my king tower, which I don't think really affects the game because it's right here. I'm going to drop my graveyard. Too bad it doesn't really do anything because he had minion horde in rotation. It was sort of my bad. I just dropped poison there because I want my barbs to get to the tower and do some damage. So my barbs get some pretty good damage. Barb Hut graveyard is actually a pretty good strategy because it's sort of, you have these constant barbs being flooded, and they serve as a pretty good tank or distraction for their tower. So I'm not sure why he's pushing this lane. I think it may be because he thinks that he has that, my left tower, and I believe it would be his right tower down. So right here, I'm really panicking because I have to get through a lot. I have to do a lot of damage to his tower in order to win. And I know he's like 2 fireballs out of beating me. So I'm like, okay, we're in double elixir, so time to really take advantage of having this really expensive deck. So I'm going to drop archers, I'm going to drop Ice Spear. I have to start cycling. I freeze all that, then I'm going to drop P.E.K.K.A. in order to take out the Prince, and then I believe I zap right there. So I got P.E.K.K.A. So I poison right here because I was trying to sort of protect my P.E.K.K.A. That minion horde got really obnoxious, and I'm going to graveyard right now because I know his minion horde is out of rotation, so that's going to force him to use his baby drag. He's doing the fire spirits. I have my princess chipping away at the tower. I'm like, okay, this is basically game right here. All I have to do is zap, and that's a really good game. I forced a fireball. If he fireballed my tower instead of fireballing my push, I do believe he could have beat me right there. But that's the end of game 1. I am going to I had a comment on my previous video from Kyrobi, and he sort of jokingly said, make a deck with skeletons as your main win condition. So I was like, okay, let's why not? So we're gonna go into this battle. This was really fun. This was against the leader, Irish Blitzkrieg. He's been around the clan for a long time. I was sort of throwing stuff back and forth because he's been sort of inactive recently. He's been some stuff in his life turn. I think something to do with his job is starting to come up, and he's doing pretty well from what I hear. So it's nice to see him on the game. So I'm using this all skeleton deck. I couldn't make skeletons as my main win condition because, let's be honest, that's just not realistic. Skeletons die by anything. They even die to skeletons. So this is a fun deck. He's rocking the Sparky. He's the original Sparky player. This guy, I remember when I first joined the clan. He was a Sparky user, and he was up there around the time 3000 was considered really high, and he got there with the Sparky deck. 3000 was really high for our clan, and now he sort of was playing around with some other decks, and now he's back to Sparky. I'm so happy to see that he's doing it again. So I'm dropping Giant Skelly. the purpose behind this deck, the way I made it was just like, okay, what do I have? What do I have? Like what cards do I have that have skeletons? So I was like, okay, which spawn skeletons? So yes, maybe. Like, okay, so I got skeletons there. Tombstone also spawned skeletons. Then I had fill and other stuff. I'm like, okay, guards, they're just skeletons, but they have shields. And then bomber, I'm like, well, bomber is just a skeleton, right? But just throws bombs. Skeleton army, pretty self-explanatory. Balloon, I'm like, well, he's just a skeleton in a balloon that drops bombs. So I will say that there was a previous variant of this where I ran graveyard instead of balloon. I was having a bit of trouble with that. I did have to swap graveyard for balloon because it was just way too weak. I could not make any pushes because this lacks a lot of this lacks a lot of good tanks. The only tank you have is this giant skelly. So right now in the replay, I've only beaten this guy I think twice, and almost every single time I play him, he always builds some sort of massive push against me. And I was really happy because I didn't just beat him, but I also like got a flawless against him. So this was such a fun game. I did go on to the next game and lose to him. As you can see right there. We're not going to watch that because this video is already getting too long. And then I did play him again with my ladder deck, and I was able to beat him. I will say that granted he is a little rusty, but it was still fun. I just wanted to share that replay with you because I was told that I was asked to make a deck that had skeletons win condition and kyrobi. There you go. That's a replay. If you want me to do more videos like this, please let me know in the comments down below. These are a lot of fun to make. I will continue to do videos whenever there's a challenge that comes out. So like I covered the Prince challenge. Sadly, I can't do this on my other account because I only have 9 gems, and I can't pay the 10 gems on that other account because I do not want to give Supercell any more of my money. I'm completely free to play now. So this is going to be the end of this replay, and I hope you guys, whenever you watch this, are having a good day and you have a good rest of your day. So this is Basilia 12 signing off, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.